Hey Truth Seekers, welcome back. Zach here. In this video post I want to talk about LeBron James and the upcoming NBA Finals, what's so special about this season for him and the Cleveland Cavaliers. But before we talk about that, I want to talk about sports being scripted through one main person or through one main team. Earlier this year, we saw the Patriots win the Super Bowl. In that Super Bowl, Tom Brady became the most successful quarterback in Super Bowls with 4 wins, 2 losses, the first quarterback to ever start in 6 Super Bowls. It should be noted that his only 2 losses in Super Bowls came against the New York Giants. And just before the Super Bowl started this year, it was announced that the part owner, a female, of the New York Giants died just moments before the game. Talk about curious. The Patriots became successful immediately after September 11th, when our media and our culture was pushing this false patriotism to back this major hoax, which was September 11th. For the Patriots to even get into the Super Bowl, they had to create a fake rule, the Tuck rule, to justify the biggest bullshit call in the history of the NFL. Tom Brady clearly fumbled the ball in the AFC Championship game against the Raiders. The Raiders recovered. It should have been game over, Raiders to the Super Bowl. Instead, the refs made a more controversial call than possibly any call before in the history of the game, and the Patriots went on to go to the Super Bowl and win. And ever since that day forward, any NFL fan who's watched the Patriots with open eyes has seen the same things I've seen. False spots where the ball's moved up to 2 yards up the field to get a first down when they're not even in position. No pass interference calls, no holding calls. Pretty much just everything called in their favor. And long before the Patriots got this way, I saw this stuff in sports. As a kid, I grew up in Portland, Oregon. I still remember the NBA Finals, Portland Trail Blazers versus Chicago Bulls and Michael Jordan. Once upon a time, the whole NBA was scripted through Michael Jordan. Nobody needed numerology or gematria to see that. He could do no wrong. He got every single call. If anybody breathed on him, it was a foul call. You know? It was a big joke for me to watch. I was never as into the Jordan mania as everyone else was. I thought anybody who got that many calls in their favor could be as great as he was. I mean, yeah, he's a good player, but he truly did get every call. Last night, there was the boxing match, and it's now clear that the world of boxing is rigged through the eyes of Floyd Mayweather. I mean, it was probably clear before, but after last night's fight and seeing all the scripting of the numerology, all the 67 coded into it, it's a complete joke. Floyd Mayweather hit Pacquiao 67 times in the head. The disparity in punches was 67. The location was 67. The opponent was 67. His reach is 67 inches. It's just a joke. So, anyway, with regards to sports being scripted through a person, a team, I don't think anyone will gaffe when I say the league is scripted through LeBron James right now. He is the biggest selling point for the NBA. He's the biggest attention grabber. He's the modern era Michael Jordan. So check this out. He goes by the name King James, right, Truth Seeker? King James has a gematria of 44. And what's significant about 44 to the Cavs is right now they're in their 44th year of existing in the NBA. They came into the NBA in 1970. That's 44 years ago. 2 other teams came into the league with them that year. The Portland Trail Blazers and the Buffalo Braves. The Buffalo Braves are now the Los Angeles Clippers. The Portland Trail Blazers have already been eliminated, but the Clippers are still in existence. So, the 2 teams remaining from 44 years ago, Cavs and Clippers. And True Seeker, what I want to point out is that in the 1970 season when they joined the league, there came to be 17 teams in the league. The gematria of NBA, in simple English, is 17. So, Cavs were part of this season where the NBA grew to 17 teams. Look at this gematria real quick. King James Pythagorean gematria sums to 44. No exceptions. And again, 44-year anniversary of the team in Cleveland. I also want to point out that the name LeBron James with simple English gematria sums to 114. And Cleveland Cavaliers with Pythagorean gematria sums to 114. Currently, right now in the United States, we're in the time of the 114th Congress, and the leadership of that Congress is from the state of Ohio, just like Cleveland, just like LeBron James. That's John Boehner. John Boehner's name is just like LeBron James. It sums to 114. On the date that Netanyahu came to Congress, it was Boehner and Orrin Hatch standing behind Netanyahu. Orrin Hatch also spells his name so that it sums to 114. Numbers of significance. Also, Ohio's the 17th state. Like I said, they joined the league in 70, the year that the league grew to 17 teams, number significant to NBA. Ohio has gematria of 47, the only state that has simple English gematria of 47. The first NBA championship was in the year of 47. So, Ohio, King James has some important numbers that connect to the NBA. Now, with regards to what I think the NBA Finals will be at this point, I think it will be Cavs versus Warriors. If it's not the Warriors, I think it would be the Clippers because of the 44-year anniversary thing, but I'll show you why I think it's going to be the Warriors. There's a couple main reasons. For one, the number 42 is retired with both the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Golden State Warriors. This is Nate Thurman, played for both teams. LeBron James, the name with Pythagorean gematria. With simple English gematria, it sums to 114. With Pythagorean, it sums to 42. And the check is to make sure that both methods reduce to the same single digit. So 114 is 1 plus 1 plus 4 equals 6. 42 is 4 plus 2 equals 6. So both 114 and 42 have numerology as 6. That's the check to make sure you did the math right when you're doing this gematria if you want to try it yourself. This number 42 came up in the season for the Cavs and Warriors. I'll show you just how. I also want to point out that the gematria of NBA Finals Pythagorean's 33. With the S exception, it's 42. And I also want to point out that this year's NBA Finals will begin on June 4th. This year's college championship was on the date April 6th, 4-6, the 96th day of the year. So LeBron James, he gets these 42-114 tributes a lot. This is from April 2nd of this year, Truth Seeker. The Cavs defeated the Heat 114-88. Notice that the Heat was LeBron James's other team that he's played for. Last year, he was on the Heat in the NBA Finals against the Spurs. The only two teams he's played for are the Cavs and the Heat. So this year on 4-2, the Cavs defeat the Heat with a score of 114-88. Do you think this is a coincidence, Truth Seeker? Remember, LeBron James sums to 114 and 42. Cleveland Cavaliers also has the gematria of 114, matching LeBron James. In this game, LeBron James scored 23 points. He wears the number 23. Also interesting. Okay, so there was that. But this is the real kicker, Truth Seeker, and this is why I think it'll be Warriors-Cavs. On this date, February 26th, LeBron James defeated the Golden State Warriors 110-99. In this game, LeBron James scored 42 points. This was his season high, 42. And what made it extra funny is that it came exactly 114 days, or 3 months and 22 days, after his November 4th game. Think about the date 114, a lot like 114, which was against the Blazers, in which he had his career worst game. So LeBron James' career worst game and his season best game were separated by 114 days, or 3 months and 22 days, and he scored 42 points. And remember, both these teams retired the number 42. And NBA Finals has this gematria connection to 42. So at this point, if I had to bet, I would bet on a Warriors-Cavs NBA Finals. And I don't think that'll surprise anyone. I think that's everyone's favorite to be the NBA Finals right now. Also, it should be noted that earlier this year, I thought the Blazers and Cavs might be in the NBA Finals because of that game that was on November 4th. Again, they're the only two teams that joined the league 44 years ago, unless you count the Buffalo Braves that are now the Los Angeles Clippers. I thought that might be the ultimate 44 tribute for this year's NBA Finals. And with regards to 44, that ended up being the number for football. I thought the Colts were going to win the championship because of the number 44, but instead the Patriots did in the 44th year of being in their conference. 44 was also huge in the college tournament. And even in yesterday's boxing match, it had a connection through the number 144. With regards to the Blazers, they got a lot of weird death stories connected to them this year. Jerome Kersey, Anthony Mason. A lot of people don't realize Anthony Mason had a Blazer connection, but he was drafted 53rd overall by the Portland Trail Blazers, and Trail Blazers equals 53. Jerome Kersey also died. His name summed to 77, the same year the Blazers won the NBA Finals, only time they won it. So, you know, I'm not sure that when I made the predictions about the Blazers, I was wrong. It's possible this stuff's more fluid and the whole narrative set up for the Cavs this year. It's possible that the Blazers got too many injuries because that's what happened to their team down the stretch, and they were depleted by the time they got to the playoffs. I mean, my initial pick might have been right at the time, but maybe they had to re-script and go a different route. Hard to say, but whatever it is, I'm 100% certain that the entire league is scripted through LeBron James, and I hope you're seeing that with the evidence I'm bringing up. And also, I just want to make this point. This was a weird story from earlier this year. A woman supposedly died in the stands at the Blazers game. Her name was Sandra, a lot like Sandy, which has been connected to so many tragedies. And then Zikafus, which is a really weird name with a 114 gematria. So, I was following some headlines that misled me a little bit, but still, looking back at them, I find them very curious. Also, just I wanted to point this out, Truth Seeker. LeBron James' worst game of his career on November 4th, they only scored 82 points. And remember, it was 3 months and 22 days later that he had his career best game. Before the Super Bowl, Tiger Woods played in his 322nd tournament, and he shot his career worst 82. LeBron James' career worst game, the team scored 82 points. Tiger Woods' career worst game, he shot at 82. This number is often connected to negative things as well. Of course, in the NBA, it's an 82 game schedule. Michael Jordan, once upon a time, had an 82 life number, joined North Carolina in the year 82. And just some more to show you how scripted the league is around LeBron James. I did a video on this earlier this year, his game against James Harden. They lost in the game. At the very end of the game, LeBron James went to the free throw line and had a chance to tie the game. Instead, he missed both of his free throws, finishing 3 for 11 with free throws. And he missed both of his free throws with 4.2 seconds left on the clock. 4.2 seconds left on the clock. And he misses both to tie. And then walked to the bench with a big grin on his face. And I'm pretty sure he intentionally missed. James Harden also intentionally missed his last free throw, finishing with 33 points. But, yeah, if you followed my work, you've seen this stuff already. Just all throughout this season, there's been these numerology tributes. With regards to the Warriors, Steph Curry set his record on April 9th. Most threes made in a season, and why I thought that was so curious was because Warriors has the gematria of 49. When you think about Golden State, the San Francisco area, you think about the 49ers, the football team. So, on the date with the 4-9 connection, the Warriors players set the record. They also went on to beat the Blazers in that game. Who knows? Maybe that game was for all the marbles for who was going to be in the finals versus the Cavs. Also, with regards to the NBA Finals, I want to point out that the first NBA championship was in the year 47, a number that we talk about much. Remember, Ohio is the only state with 47 gematria. But more recently, the name became NBA Finals after 39 years of championship games. NBA Finals came. The NBA Finals has simple English gematria of 111. In English gematria, that translates to 666. And a lot of truthers out there have done the work showing all the satanic symbolism that NBA players are doing, including LeBron James himself. Those videos are just a web search away. A lot of them out there. And the reason this is so is because these leagues are ran by the false Jews, the synagogue of Satan. This is what they're all about. And I suspect that they indoctrinate their stars into it, such as LeBron James. NBA Finals, you drop the, it sums to 78, like the speed a record spins at. We'll talk about that in a second. And with Pythagorean gematria, it sums to 33. Also a speed that records spin at. 33 and a third revolutions per minute, 45 and 78. 86, the year it became NBA Finals. The words triangle and pyramid sum to 86. Think about that in light of player symbolism. You know, Jay-Z over there owning the Brooklyn Nets now, putting up his triangles. LeBron James likes to do it too. A bunch of stars do. Once upon a time, it was called the NBA World Championship, which had the gematria of 68, the flip of 86, and also 77 with the S exception. The NBA World Championship series. NBA World Championship, when you put it all together, sums to 133, and with the S exceptions, 160. So, NBA World Championship also has the 33 coded into it like NBA Finals. And for 2 brief years, it was known as NBA Showdown, which has interesting gematria as well. NBA Showdown. With regards to this 33 thing, all throughout the season we're seeing these tributes. Look at this picture right here. They have Dwayne Wade in no uniform, and then they have the 3 players, 23, 7, and 3. 23 plus 7 is 30, plus 3 more is 33. You know, I did a video post about Chris Paul and how he likely agreed to have his father killed when he joined Wake Forest. Some sick stuff's going on. If you want to tune it out and pretend none of this is happening, you know, you have the right to do that, but you're just going to be denying yourself truth. And for anyone who worships these players, you might be worshiping some really sick people. You know, a lot of people look up to these athletes and center their lives around them. Last year in the NBA Finals, when LeBron was on the Heat, I saw this right away and I said, oh, there's the sign that the Heat are definitely going to lose this series. LeBron James came out of the game with 33 minutes playing time, standing next to Wade, who has the name gematria of 33. They even got number 33 on the screen. Last night, this is who closed out the Spurs against the Clippers with a really dumb inbound play. I mean, talk about picking plays to lose. But, yeah. They give us the signs. It's all numbers, Truth Seeker. And with regards to last year's NBA Finals, they were a perfect mirror of the Finals 30 years before, 1984 to 2014. In 1984, David Stern, the little tiny Zionist Jew, became the commissioner of the league. Last year, David Silver, another shriveled-looking Zionist Jew, also became the commissioner of the league. And I'm surprised more people don't go, why the fuck is a Jew in charge of the NBA? I mean, has there even ever been a Jew basketball player? I can't think of any Jewish basketball players. And why do we have little tiny shriveled men who are in charge of a league of giants? You know what I mean? And do you remember how David Silver came into being last year? He made himself a false hero because he came in and did what? Corrected the false problem with the Clippers. Last year, the Clippers owner, Donald Turkowitz, who rechanged his name to Donald Sterling to hide his Jew name, was the longest tenured owner in the league with 33 years as the owner of the Clippers. And supposedly, he was racist against black people in a story that made absolutely no fucking sense. You know why the story made no sense? He was said to be racist against black people because he made derogatory remarks about a black person in private to his black girlfriend. Think about that. The guy has a black girlfriend. He made derogatory remarks about black athletes to her in private, and the story got out that he was racist against black people. See how that story doesn't really make sense? If a guy has a black girlfriend, I'm going to suspect that he's actually not that racist against black people. You know what I mean? It was just all a big, it was just a huge bullshit story. The whole media started covering it at once. Everyone started talking about it. You know, that's how it works in this country. If it's on the TV and it's over and over, everyone will start talking about it. But then anyway, out of that, David Silver made some changes and became the big hero. Remember? All part of his fake introduction. Give himself a nice appearance to start his tenure as NBA commissioner. Let's hope it doesn't last for 30 years. Maybe it will. But anyway, in this 84 season, the Celtics defeated the Lakers. In that year, the Celtics had a 62-20 record, and the Lakers were 54-28. Last year, the Spurs had a 62-20 record, and the Cavs, or not the Cavs, the Heat had a 54-28 record. And of course, the Spurs advanced over the Heat as the Celtics once advanced over the Lakers. And I also want to point out back then that it was all about the number 33 as well. Both Bird and Magic are 33 names. Larry's a 74 name, often connected with 33. Magic's real name is Irvin, which has the 33 gematria. Massachusetts, where Boston's from, is one of only 33 states. Lakers come from Minnesota, land of 47, team that won championships in the early days. With regards to the first ever championship, it was won by the Philadelphia Warriors in 47. They're now the Golden State Warriors. But, yeah, Truth Seeker, all through history, these same numbers all over the NBA. Patrick Riley, think about him on the sidelines with LeBron in the past. Mr. 33 himself coined the term three-peat. But yeah, Truth Seeker, sports, all rigged by numbers. Way deeper than you'd ever know. And that's pretty much the extent of the message, I guess. Just wanted everybody to see that King James is bringing the NBA Finals to Cleveland in their 44-year anniversary. And I suspect they'll win the championship this year. Cleveland's first championship will come in the 44-year anniversary. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I would be entirely amazed if the Cleveland Cavaliers did not end up in the NBA championship. All right, Truth Seeker. Until next time.